You see, family, we live in a world where everybody has a problem, but only a few have a plan. Most people stay up at night worrying about what might go wrong, instead of standing up in the morning preparing for what could go right. Most people spend the best years of their lives worrying about things that may never happen. They rehearse every possible failure, every potential rejection, and every obstacle long before they ever take a single step toward their dreams. Worry becomes a constant companion, a voice that whispers, what if it doesn't work? What if you fail? What if you're not good enough? Voice grows louder with every excuse and every fear until it paralyzes them into doing nothing at all. Worry drains the energy that could have been used to take action. It steals time that could have been invested in learning, growing, or building something meaningful. When you work, you are spending emotional currency on a future that does not yet exist. You give power to problems that may never come to pass. It's like paying interest on a loan you never took out. Worry convinces you that thinking about the problem is the same as solving it. But the truth is, worrying never solves a single problem. It only magnifies fear and clouds your ability to think clearly and act decisively. Those who achieve great things understand that energy is precious. They refuse to waste it on constant anxiety about the unknown. Instead, they focus that energy on preparing for opportunities, learning skills, and taking consistent action. They understand that action cures fear. The moment you take a step, no matter how small, you weaken the grip of worry over your life. Winners know that even if they fail, they will gain knowledge and experience that will make them stronger. The difference between those who worry and those who win is simple. Winners trade worry for work, while warriors sit still imagining everything that could go wrong. Winners move forward even when they are afraid. They study, they prepare, they take small risks, and they build momentum. Each step gives them confidence. Each lesson prepares them for the next challenge. They know that progress, not perfection, is what leads to success. Worry is passive. Action is powerful. You cannot educate yourself while drowning in fear. You cannot grow while holding on to doubt. Knowledge, preparation, and faith are built through doing, not just thinking. If you spend all your time imagining the worst, you will never have the time or energy to create the best. That is why most people stay trapped in cycles of worry, while only a few step into victory. Life rewards those who act, not those who hesitate. The people who succeed are not always the smartest or the most talented. Often they are simply the ones who decide that worrying is a waste of time, that moving forward is the only way to grow. They face fear head on trusting that each action, each step and each moment of preparation brings them closer to the future they desire. So instead of worrying about failing, learn how to succeed. Instead of fearing rejection, prepare so well that you cannot be ignored. Instead of imagining obstacles, equip yourself with knowledge, skills, and determination so that you can overcome them when they come. Worry changes nothing, but action changes everything. When you replace worry with preparation, you build faith. When you replace fear with learning, you build confidence. And when you replace hesitation with action, you build success. Winners know this, and that is why they stand out. They have learned that life does not reward the learner, rewards the worker, the learner, the doer, and the believer who acts despite fear. This is the dividing line between most worry, few act. Most complain, few prepare. Most wait for the perfect time, few create the right time. And at the end of the day, most stay where they are. But the few who act, they are the ones who win. Fear is like a prison that keeps so many people from living the life they were created to live. It traps the mind, limits decisions, and convinces people that it's safer to stay where they are than to step into the unknown. Fear whispers lies, that failure is final, that rejection defines you, that trying is too risky. It blinds people to opportunities and steals the courage required to chase after their God-given purpose. Worry feeds that fear until it becomes a chain, holding people back from even attempting what they are capable of achieving. Faith, however, is the exact opposite. Faith is like a door. It opens possibilities. It expands vision. And it gives you the strength to walk into places you've never been before. Faith does not deny the presence of challenges, but it gives you the courage to face them head on. Faith believes that no matter how great the obstacle, God is greater. Faith declares that even if you fall, you get back up, learn from it, and keep moving forward. Where fear says, what if it goes wrong? Faith says, what if it goes right? People who win in life understand that fear will always be present, but they refuse to let it control their decisions. They know that courage is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to act despite fear. They choose to believe that there is something greater on the other side of uncertainty. Winners view every challenge as an opportunity to grow, every setback as a lesson, and every risk as a chance to step into a better future. Fear creates hesitation, but faith creates action. When you believe that God has equipped you for more, you stop shrinking back and start stepping forward. You study more, prepare more, and position yourself for opportunities. Faith pushes you to develop your skills, to learn new things, and to take the risk that most people are too afraid to take. It is through faith that people find the strength to invest in their growth, to make bold moves, and to pursue dreams that seem impossible to others. Fear will always tell you to wait for the perfect time, but faith reminds you that the perfect time is now. Fear convinces you to focus on every possible mistake, but tells you to trust that even mistakes will become part of your testimony. Fear locks doors in your mind before you even try to open them. Faith, however, unlocks those doors and says, step in, you belong here, you are ready for this. The difference between those who succeed and those who remain stuck is not the absence of fear, but the presence of faith strong enough to take action. Every person who has ever achieved something great felt afraid at some point, but they chose to believe in something greater than their fear. They chose to trust that their efforts, their preparation, and their faith would create opportunities that worry never could. When you let fear rule you, you settle for less than what God has for you. You play small, you delay decisions, and you never know what you are truly capable of. But when you embrace faith, you open the door to growth, success, and fulfillment. You begin to see possibilities where others see problems. You take risks that others avoid, and you reap rewards that others never experience. Faith does not mean recklessness. It means trusting enough to take the steps you can take while believing that God will meet you along the way. It is preparing diligently, learning consistently, and moving forward even when you feel unqualified. Faith creates progress, while fear guarantees stagnation. This is why so few win. Most people allow fear to build walls in their lives, keeping them trapped in cycles of worry and doubt. But the few who win tears walls down with faith. They move, they act, they trust, and they persist. Fear may knock on their door, but faith is the key that opens greater doors than they ever imagined. And when they walk through, they step into victory that was waiting for them all along. Winners are not necessarily the smartest people in the room or the ones with the most resources, but they think differently. The way you think determines the way you live. Most people spend the time focusing on problems, limitations, and reasons why something cannot be done. They become experts in excuses, always explaining why they cannot start, why the timing is wrong, or why they are not ready yet. This mindset keeps them stuck because where your mind goes, your life follows. If your thoughts are consumed with negativity, fear, and doubt, then your actions will always reflect hesitation and insecurity. Winners, on the other hand, discipline their minds to focus on solutions. They see challenges, but instead of saying, this is too hard, they ask, how can I make this work? They shift from victim thinking to possibility thinking, while others are paralyzed by the fear of failure. Winners prepare themselves to succeed by learning, planning, and acting. They understand that thoughts shape actions, and actions shape results. When you think like a winner, you begin to take responsibility for your growth instead of waiting for someone else to rescue you. This shift in thinking is powerful because it breaks the cycle of procrastination. People who constantly worry and complain never feel ready to take the next step. They wait for perfect conditions that will never exist. Winners know that perfection is an illusion, so they choose progress over perfection. They decide that even small, perfect steps are better than standing still. Each step forward teaches them something valuable, and every lesson learned brings them closer to success. Thinking differently also means focusing on growth instead of instant results. Most people want success quickly, but they are not willing to put an effort to prepare for it. Winners know that long-term victory is built on daily habits. They commit to learning new skills, reading, seeking mentorship, and surrounding themselves with people who challenge them to grow. They guard their minds against negativity, understanding that what you feed your mind eventually shows up in your life. When challenges come, warriors ask, why is this happening to me? But winners ask, what can I learn from this? How can I grow stronger through this? They view setbacks as stepping stones rather than stumbling blocks. Because they think differently. They can see opportunities where others only see obstacles. They refuse to be defined by their current circumstances, believing that every problem contains the seed of a solution. Another major difference is that winners think from a place of abundance, while warriors think from a place of scarcity. Warriors constantly fear that opportunities are limited, that success is only for a lucky few. Winners believe that opportunities can be created, that there is always a way forward, and that success is built through persistence and preparation. They don't wait for permission to start. They create their own paths through effort, faith, and determination. Thinking differently also means taking ownership of your choices. Warriors blame others' circumstances or luck for their lack of progress. Winners take responsibility for where they are and where they are going. They know that no one else can do the work for them. They make decisions based on long-term goals rather than short-term comfort. They train their minds to stay focused on the bigger picture, even when the process feels slow or difficult. This mindset is what separates the few who win from the many who don't. Because once you change the way you think, everything else follows. Your confidence grows. Your actions become more intentional, and your life begins to reflect the belief that success is possible. Winners understand that every great achievement starts in the mind long before it becomes reality. They build a mindset of discipline, courage, and determination that fuels their actions every single day. Most people never win because they allow fear, doubt, and negativity to dominate their thoughts. But those who train their minds to think differently, to focus on solutions, to believe in possibilities, and to act with courage, they become unstoppable. They do not let temporary setbacks find their future because they know that success is a journey of persistence and preparation. That is why only a few rise above the rest, not because they had it easier, but because they dared to think differently and act on it. Preparation is what separates those who merely dream from those who actually achieve. Many people desire success, but they are unwilling to do the work that success demands. They spend more time hoping and wishing than planning and preparing. They wait for opportunities to magically appear, forgetting that opportunities favor the prepared. Without preparation, even the greatest opportunities can slip through your fingers because you are not ready to handle them. Winners understand that preparation is an investment, not a burden. They study, they train, they practice, and they build the skills necessary to stand out. They do not rely on luck. They rely on the time, effort they have put into growth. While warriors are busy talking about what they wish they could do, winners are quietly working behind the scenes to sharpen their tools. Preparation gives them confidence because they know they have put in the work. Confidence does not come from wishful thinking. It comes from knowing you're equipped to perform. Preparation also builds consistency. Success is rarely achieved in one big leap. It is the result of many small intentional steps taken over time. Those who fail to prepare often find themselves scrambling when opportunities come, leading to mistakes, stress, and missed chances. But those who invest in preparation move with purpose and clarity because they have already done the groundwork. They understand that every bit of learning, every skill developed, and every plan made is a seed that will eventually bear fruit. Another powerful benefit of preparation is that it creates opportunities. People often believe that success comes only to those who are lucky or well connected. But the truth is that preparation creates its own luck. When you are well prepared, You recognize opportunities faster than others, and you have the confidence to seize them. Someone who's been studying, training, and growing will always be ready to step into a role that others may hesitate to take. Winners prepare not only for what they expect, but also for the unexpected. They know that life is full of challenges, and preparation helps them adapt when things don't go as planned, while warriors are caught off guard and frozen by fear. Prepared people can pivot, adjust, and find solutions because they have a foundation of knowledge and skills to rely on. Preparation also separates you from the crowd because it is rare. Most people want quick results without putting in the work. They want success without sacrifice, growth without effort, and progress without persistence. Winners, however, embrace preparation as a lifestyle. They read books, take courses, seek mentorship, and constantly improve themselves. They invest their time wisely, understanding that every hour spent preparing today reduces the risk of failure tomorrow. This mindset gives prepared individuals an advantage that cannot be taken away. Opportunities will always come to those who are going to handle them, even if success seems delayed. Preparation ensures that when the right moment arrives, they can step up with confidence and capability. They're not intimidated by challenges because they know they have built the strength and knowledge to overcome them. Those who fail to prepare often watch others succeed and wonder why they were left behind. They see people achieving what they once dreamed of, not realizing that behind every success story is a person who invested time, energy, and discipline into preparation. It is not that the winners were lucky. It is that they were ready when the chance came. The world does not reward desire. It rewards readiness. You cannot pray for opportunities while refusing to prepare for them. Faith without preparation is incomplete. Winners combine faith with action by equipping themselves long before anyone is watching. They understand that unseen preparation leads to visible promotion. At the end of the day, success is not about who wants it most. It is about who's ready for it when the door opens. While most people keep waiting, taught, and wishing, winners are busy preparing. That preparation becomes their advantage, their confidence, and ultimately their victory. It is the quiet work done in private that leads to the loud success celebrated in public. God rewards boldness, not hesitation. Too many people spend their lives waiting for a perfect sign, a perfect opportunity, or the perfect moment to take action. They convince themselves that they need more time, more resources, or more certainty before they move. But in reality, hesitation becomes the reason they never see progress. Life does not wait for you to feel ready. Doors do not stay open forever. Every season has an opportunity attached to it. When you hesitate too long, that opportunity can pass you by. Winners understand that boldness is a decision, not a feeling. You may not always feel brave, but you can choose to act courageously anyway. Boldness is stepping forward even when fear is screaming in your ears. It is taking the first step even when you cannot see the whole path. Boldness does not mean recklessness. It means trusting that God will meet you when you move in faith. It is the belief that God has already placed in you everything you need to grow, achieve, and overcome. When you look at people who have achieved great things, you will always find that at some point they had to take a risk. They had to step out of their comfort zone and believe that something greater was possible. Boldness is often uncomfortable because it requires action without guarantees, but comfort zones never produce growth. Staying safe may feel easy, but it also keeps you small. Hesitation, on the other hand, is dangerous because it creates missed opportunities. Every time you pause out of fear, you strengthen doubt and weaken your confidence. You train your mind to avoid challenges instead of facing them. Over time, hesitation becomes a habit, and people start convincing themselves that success is for others, not for them. But the truth is, success often belongs to those who are willing to act while others are still thinking. God blesses those who move in faith. The Bible is full of stories of people who stepped out boldly and saw miracles happen. The walls of Jericho did not fall because the people hesitated. David did not defeat Goliath by standing still and overthinking. Peter did not walk on water by waiting for the waves to calm. In every case, boldness was required before the breakthrough came. God rewards action because action is proof of faith. Boldness is also a form of preparation. When you take action, you gain experience. Even if things do not go perfectly, you learn, you grow, and you become stronger for the next opportunity. The people who win are not those who never fail. They are those who are bold enough to try again and again until they succeed. Boldness turns failures to lessons and lessons into victories. Being bold also inspires others. When you act courageous and you show people around you that it is possible to rise above fear, you create a ripple effect that encourages others to pursue their own dreams. Bold people lead by example because their actions prove that faith and effort can achieve incredible results. Hesitation, however, keeps you invisible. It hides your potential and limits your influence. You cannot shine if you are too afraid to step into the light. You cannot make an impact if you never take a risk. Winners know that every great achievement requires a moment of courage. That one bold decision to start the business, apply for the job, write the book, or take the chance can change everything. God honors people who trust Him enough to act. Faith that stays silent and inactive accomplishes nothing. But when you combine belief with bold steps, you unlock opportunities that fear could never give you. It is not enough to simply hope for blessings. You must position yourself through bold action to receive them. Those who win understand that every bold step brings them closer to their goals. They may feel fear, but they refuse to let it dictate their choices. They step forward trusting that God will provide the strength, the wisdom, and the favor they need along the way. Meanwhile, those who hesitate often find themselves watching others succeed while wondering why their own life never changes. At the end of the day, it is not the hesitant who succeed, but the bold. Success belongs to the ones who are willing to act, to try, to fail, and to try again. God rewards courage, initiative, and faith in action. The doors of opportunity are open for those who dare to knock. The blessings are given to those who are prepared to receive them by stepping forward in trust. The choice is always yours. You can keep waiting for the perfect moment that never comes, or you can decide today to be bold. That one decision can separate you from the crowd. Because when you choose boldness over hesitation, you position yourself for the breakthrough the hesitation will never allow you to see. Life will always present two groups of people, those who worry and those who win. Most people spend their time overthinking, doubting themselves, and waiting for the perfect moment that never comes. They allow fear, hesitation, and lack of preparation to keep them trapped in this place year after year. But the few who win choose a different path. They think differently. They prepare diligently. They act boldly, and they trust that God will meet them on their journey of faith. Worry drains energy, but action builds the future. It locks doors, but faith opens them. Winners discipline their minds to see solutions instead of problems, to prepare when no one is watching, and to move boldly even when the outcome is uncertain. They understand that success is not a matter of luck. It is the result of faith, preparation, courage, and persistence. If you want to be among the few who win, you must make a decision today. Trade your worry for wisdom, your fear for faith, and your hesitation for bold action. Refuse to live as a prisoner to doubt and excuses. Instead, choose to be intentional, to grow, and to step into the opportunities that God has already prepared for you. Remember this truth: most worry, but few win, and the only thing separating the two is the choice to act. Be among the few. Be the one who believes, prepares, acts, and overcomes. The future belongs to those who are ready and bold enough to claim it.